Hello, so today we are going to look at starting a blog for your classroom. This video will be for both teachers and students. So students, if you are following along, you will learn how to create a blog as well. And teachers, I'm going to go over some of the reasons you could or should use a blog and just show you how to set it up for your students as well. Because obviously you want to be able to maybe go through this once or twice before you try to show this to your to your students, and just to be more familiar with the blog platform in general. So as you can see, I am on the Blogger website. So I just opened up a new window. I'm on Chrome and I visited blogger.com, and this is what it looks like when you arrive. So for the sake of this video, we are going to assume that you do not have a blog already set up. And we're going to kind of go from scratch and then go through all of the different things that you can do with a blog and how you can change some of the settings and how you can set this up for your students too. The reason I chose Blogger, aside from other blogging websites, there is another one, probably the second most popular, which is called WordPress, is because Blogger is the designated blogging website from Google. All of our school emails and student emails are through Google, so it just works a little bit better to have it all be within the same family. But of course you can choose other websites, but I will be using Blogger for the sake of the video. Okay, so to get started, we are going to again assume that you do not have a blog. If you already did, you could go to the sign in up in the right hand corner at the top. But for today, we are going to click create your blog. All right, so it is going to give me the option to use my school email, which I'm going to do, and students, you will also be able to sign in with your school email. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that email and enter my password. And this is what it's going to look like. So right now there's not a whole lot going on because you just started it. You are just now creating your blog. And so there shouldn't be really much to see. All of this is your reading list. As you can see, add blogs to follow in your reading list. So this is Blogger Buzz. This is just something put on by Blogger. So if you don't want to follow that, you can remove that if you would like, but those are just some updates that the blogging website includes. So to create your blog, up here in the left top hand corner, I'll just go to create blog. So this is where you're going to choose a name for your blog. Now this is for my dream unit, for my Romeo and Juliet unit. So I'm going to call mine Mrs. Wolf's Romeo and Juliet. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that when I make this blog, I am also keeping in mind that this is something that is going to be available for the whole class to see. So make sure that what you're selecting is appropriate. But also teachers and students, remember that you might want to refrain from using last names. So for me as a teacher, it's okay that I'm using my last name. But if you were going to do this, let's rename it for just a second. For a student, you may want to put, J. Smith, and then Romeo and Juliet, or whatever you want to have your students name them. You can give them full credit and full creativity to name it themselves. That is up to you to decide. But just keep in mind you may not want to include first names or full names if that is something that you want to keep private. All right, so I'm going to keep that for the name of my blog. I'll go ahead and hit next. Now the address is slightly different. So the name of the blog is what is going to appear on the blog on the page to be read, but the URL is what you're going to find at the top of your search bar. So it will be thisname.blogspot.com, and we are going to go ahead and give it a name. So we'll see if this is available. You might have to go through a couple of different domains before you can find one that works for you. I'm going to do Mrs. Wolf, Romeo, and Juliet. Sorry, this blog address is not available. Okay, now it is. So at first it wasn't, and I actually will do Mrs. Wolf's Romeo and Juliet. Okay, good, still available. So you may need to play around if it's unavailable, if you are using last names, or if you're using any kind of school-related address, you may need to play around with the numbers and text. So another good reason for teachers to play around first before doing this with your students. In fact, last year was my first year doing a blog, and excuse me, one of the things that we ran into was that a lot of the domains that we tried did not work. So I definitely encourage you coming up with a universal domain that you want your students to follow just for ease of setting up the blog. All right, we're going to go ahead and hit save. So now, excuse me, I apologize for my throat, my voice. We are going to see our blog appear up in this left-hand corner. So if you wanted to, you could start another one, so you could have a number of blogs going at once, but we are going to stick to the one we just created. So we're going to create a post just to show you how to do that. I just clicked New Post, that button, and I might just call this one Introduction. And just for the sake of having some text in here, I might say, hello, welcome to my blog. I am excited to use this space as a way to learn about and discuss the play Romeo and Juliet. I will be posting about my reaction to the play, as well as other topics that are covered in the play. I hope you will enjoy what I have to say and will follow along as we learn together. Because if you are going to do this, you are most likely doing this as a group, as a class. So it's really, really, really interesting and really cool to use the social media aspect for good and to allow students to read each other's posts and to comment on each other's posts and stuff like that. So another thing you can do, which I will show you now, is you can add images, you can add videos, special characters, really anything that you've ever seen in an email or on Google Docs, you can do here. So if we go to photos, you can choose your different way of uploading them. I'm going to go ahead and open up Google and see if I can find an image from Romeo and Juliet. So we'll go to images. One thing that I do ask that you do for this is go to tools and make sure that your usage rights are Creative Commons license. That just makes it so we can use these images and we won't have any kind of copyright infringement. One photo that I enjoy using is this one. I found this one, I think this last year, and it's from a ballet where they did Romeo and Juliet, kind of an interpretive dance. So I'm going to go ahead and save this image to my, let's see if we can find desktop, and we'll just name it, we'll just keep it the name that it is, which is fine, Sunset Romeo and Juliet. So we're going to hit save. There, it's saved. And now I'm going to bring it back into my blog, into my Blogger. So it's going to ask us to upload it. So let's choose our file. We just saved it to our desktop. There it is, Sunset. There we go. All right, perfect. So you can move it around. You can keep it at the size that you would like. You can change it to an assortment of different sizes, and you can see if we can left align it and add a caption. So if we go back to our image, this is from Ballet at Sunset Theater. Let's see. Copyright Max Pixel. There we go. So now we're giving it the proper credit that it deserves, and we'll hit preview. So this is what our blog is going to look like. This is just a preview. Here is the title of our blog at the top, and you can enter your comments here. You can see what it would look like on different platforms, which is really, really cool for students who are using iPads, or if you allow students to work on their phones. It's all very, very cool to see the different ways that it can be set up. All right, so I am happy with that preview, so I'm going to go ahead and hit publish, confirm. All right, so now you can see that that post is live, it exists. But now comes the fun part. This is where my students really enjoyed it the most. If you go to theme over here on the kind of toolbar, you will be able to choose all kinds of different themes. So I'm going to try to find one that I think kind of exemplifies that Romeo and Juliet feeling. So something maybe a little softer, a little lighter, maybe a little bit more romantic, just to kind of, again, give off that feeling of Romeo and Juliet. So this one kind of has that old feeling that I'm going for, kind of that kind of old world Romeo and Juliet feeling. So I'm going to try that. So let's preview what that might look like. All right, so I think this looks really great. You can go in and you can change fonts, you can change colors, and you can do really whatever you want to make it a little bit more customizable, but I think this looks great. I like that it has this map in the background, again, kind of giving that old world feeling to it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick to it. If you come down here to the bottom, you will see where it says customize, so you can change it if you would like to. But for now, I'm just going to say apply. Got it. All right, so now when you go to your blog, if you come down here, I'm on the left side again, this blue button says view blog. It's going to open it in a new window so you can view it as it will be viewed by others. So this is the beginning of our blog, that introduction post. And we again gave credit for the picture. And here you will see what your blog will look like. Now, right now it says no comments, but if you ask your students to write comments on each other's posts, perhaps maybe comment on two other classmates' posts, have them work in groups. Those are all things that you can do to make your blogs a bit more interactive, and again, using that social media piece for good to promote positive interactions online. You can do a lot here with this DLO. It's going to show your contact information at the top, and if you want to add a new post, you can do so from up here. So if you visit your website, you can also add a new post. Let's go back to our homepage. So again, to add a new post, you just click this button here. Once comments come in, you'll see the notification arrive here. You can add different blogs to your reading list. So if you have students following each other, they can add that to their reading list. And there are just a lot of cool things that you can do with your blog. So for this assignment specifically, and if you are doing a novel project, you can have students react to the reading. You can have students write blogs as if they were the character themselves. So you might have Juliet have an entry the night that she meets Romeo. You could have students comment back and forth as the characters. We watched the 1968 Franco Zeffirelli version, and then we watched the Baz Luhrmann version of the film from the 90s. I want to say 1996. And you can have them compare the two films. You can say which one they think was better, and you can just do a lot of reactionary stuff here. Another thing that you can do with this blog is I've asked students, is it possible to fall in love with someone you just met? Is it possible for love to be real as a teenage kid? So you can do a lot of empathy kind of style questions. You can really do a lot in this space. And I have found that students enjoy having a digital space that is theirs, that they can make creative, versus just applying their answers to a text box. So a lot to do here, and I'm sure you will even come up with more ideas, but I think blogs are a really awesome way for students to get to express themselves while learning a lot of different content. So hopefully this will inspire you to try them out in your classroom. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.